Hi everyone, welcome to today's Chinese Tech Away. We are now going to discuss none other than the new RTX 3000 series launch, which is very big for everyone in the graphics gaming community. And we're going to do something slightly different this week, where we will break this into the good and the bad, or in the context of Chinese takeaway, the sweet and the sour. So, Jez, why don't you start us off? What's happening with the RTX 3000 series launch?
Yes, last week, Nvidia announced their new 3000 series line for the graphics card, and it was to humongous fanfare. We're talking about a huge leap in generational performance, much bigger than from a 1080 to 2080. The 2080's performance and 2080 Ti performance now only comes up to the entry-level graphics card of the 300,000 series. So we're talking about 3000 series having a much better price point as well. So the 3070, which is the entry-level card, has the same performance as the top-level card of last generation. So a lot of these cards now are not just from our kind of this new generation, also the previous generation, it's going to drop humongously.
So now exactly what we're seeing is we basically have the 3070, the 3080, and the 3090. The 3070 is the same performance as the last generation 2080 Ti. The 3080 is double the performance, and the 3090 hasn't been verified, but we're looking at serious performance above. And in terms of pricing, we're at 500 US, 700 US, and 1500 US. So a big broad range of pricing, and we're in an age now where graphics cards are your most expensive kit in your machine. But at the same time, this is huge. I mean, we're talking the 3080 is being launched at 700 US dollars, whereas when the 2080 Ti launched, it was at 1200 US dollars. So we're getting a lot of bang for buck right now in terms of what the performance will be.
Yes, but you're also forgetting that there is a humongous gap between the 3080 and the 3090, nearly double the price, and that's gonna probably put off a lot of consumers.
Yeah, I mean, it's for the top 1%, isn't it? And if you're one of those guys that have a big case and you want to show it off and you want to play 8K gaming as they showed, which is absolutely insane. So you're probably playing on a 75-inch OLED TV. I mean, that what a time to be living. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? I mean, it'd be great to have 120 frames per second on an 8K TV.
I mean, that's a dream, right?
Yeah. It is if you're with Chinese Tech Away.
Indeed.
So I think, there's so much excitement. And let's talk about the design as well. I mean, this thing looks slick. It looks like, I hate to say it looks very much like a bit of Apple engineering has gone into this, but with the specs to back it up. So it's not Apple. And it's got this very unusual new fan design that's coming through. And also this whole push-pull mechanism of the fan to make things quieter as well. So it looks like the engineers have really thought through this thermal design.
I completely agree with you. The design is absolutely incredible. This is a time where now, instead of using only one side of the graphics card to cool the actual whole thing, you're having it's two sides. It's actually a double-sided fan. So that's something that they haven't used that in a long time, and I think it's only going to improve performance, which is great to see.
Yeah, and it's great. They've actually for the first time shrunk the PCB. So even though the RTX 3070 and 80 look like a traditional card, half of it is the graphics card itself, and the other back half is all just a fan. So it's actually great that they've shrunk it in, and maybe we can see this fitting into cases if people come up with even more intelligent designs and these mini ITX builds that are becoming more common. So as you can see, these could fit mini ITX cases going forward.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. I'm actually super excited about the third-party cards that will be coming out afterwards, because I can't wait to see what they can do with the design of the actual coolers, actually.
So we're seeing amazing performance across the board on the 3000 series. And what also excites me is that it's not just your raw rasterization performance that we're seeing. It's what the future of this card has within its technical capabilities. It's now incorporating more in the AI learning space with DLSAA 2.0, which essentially cherry picks which part of a single frame to render and which ones to not, and therefore reducing the overall graphical load on your GPU that's being rendered. So this basically means is as DLSA 2.0 improves and as more games incorporate it, you'll be getting increased performance. It's a little bit similar to how we saw before with all this anti-aliasing, where at first it used to cripple graphics cards, and now you can turn it on and it has almost no impact on your FPS frame rate on games. But essentially, you're getting a much sharper image. So very excited about more technology on that front.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. The first generation that implemented was the RTX 20 series, and a lot of games didn't implement DLSS too much. Now, with DLSS 2.0, we're seeing a lot more features in other games that's coming out that will now implement these technologies, and I'm so excited to see how much improvement it'll have in future games.
So what's not to love about the 3080 Ti? We have better price to performance. We have a great looking design. We have a smaller potential PCB that's going in. And we got the release date coming in a week on September 17th. So what's not to like? Why don't you stick around for our part 2 to find out a bit more, and we'll discuss the exact same things, but what we don't like about it.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. Like and subscribe in the button below. And stick around, because in the next video we're talking about the sour side. See you guys.
See ya, bye.